coming up probably in about five minutes or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play another Mass song, my favorite Mass song of all time. I play this song all the time in the car or if I'm home. It's off the New Birth CD, and it's called Do You Love Me? Check it out.
Do you love me? Do you want me by your side? Wanna hold me, girl? Wanna make me feel everything's right? Do you need me? Do you think that I'm the one? Gonna break my heart, gonna fall apart without you tonight. Sometimes I just slip away, and when I do, I just close my eyes. Sometimes I don't know what to say, but I've been missing you. No, I still want you. At night I'm lonely without you, girl. I see your picture staring down on me. I've read your letters that you sent me, girl, but I've been missing you. No, I still want you. Do you love me? Do you want me by your side? Wanna hold me, girl? Wanna make me feel everything right? Do you need me? Do you think that I'm the one? Gonna break my heart, gonna fall apart without you tonight. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Goodbye is forever. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Sometimes I just slip away. Remember when you were here with me? I sit and wonder why you went away, but I've been missing you. I still want you. Do you love me? Do you want me by your side? Wanna hold me, girl? Wanna make me feel everything's right? Do you need me? Do you think that I'm the one? Gonna break my heart, gonna fall apart without you tonight. Do you love me? Wanna make me know, gonna make me feel my love. Do you need me? Gonna break my heart, gonna fall apart without you tonight. Do you love me?
That is my favorite all-time Mass song. I love that video too. The guy in the beginning of the video, the guy that's talking to all the girls, his name is Gino, I believe. And when you watch the video, it's just funny. They're like, "Oh, come on, Gino," you know. I always wondered what happened to Gino.
Maybe he knows what happened to Gino.
Well, I have a feeling that Gino is like a buddy of his, like somebody that hangs around with them all the time. Like a good friend or something, you know.
Yeah, maybe he can give you the inside scoop on whatever happened to Gino.
Because that's the only video that I've ever seen on the show that I used to watch. It was like a metal show called. It was U68. I think it was like Metal Mania or something like that.
Yeah, that was for kids who didn't have MTV.
Yeah, I didn't have MTV. My parents, they didn't get it, I guess, because they thought it was...
the devil's work?
Yeah. They said there was nudity on there. And, people were cursing. and they just didn't think it was worth the money. So, we just had like a, I shared a room with my younger brother, and we had the black and white TV.
And the rabbit ears.
With the rabbit ear antenna, yep.
And when you had to change the UHF channel.
Yeah, and so then you would have to turn the knob. And one night, I don't know why I did it, but I was just tinkering with the UHF and the VHF, and I found U68. And I'm like, oh my God, they're playing metal. They're playing metal videos. And it was like 2 hours, I think, like every Saturday night or something like that. Mm-hmm. So the one night I'm watching it, and, I see this video and all these girls like surrounding this guy, Gino. And, it's mass. And I'm like, wow, these guys are really, really good. I'm like, and I never heard of them before. So I decided to go to the record shop that we had in town, Melody House, because he used to sell all kinds of cassettes and tapes and stuff like that and records. And I asked him about it, and he didn't have it. He said, who's that? So me and my best friend, Pedro, we had the BMX bicycles at the time. I was 15. We got on our BMX bikes, and we drove, I think, like 15 miles to this record store a few towns away. And the guy had the cassette, the New Birth cassette. And I was like so happy I picked it up. I think it was like 7-something in change back then. And,
That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
What was that, 1980?
1985, I think it was. And, I had all my money from my paper route. So I would go...
Paper route? Nobody even does a paper route anymore.
Well, I think they don't do paper routes anymore because the people are weirdos and they don't want their kids going to the house to collect the money.
I don't think anybody reads the newspaper per se. They read everything online now.
Yeah. So, I would save my money up for the paper route, and then I would go into, I would drive my bike to this record store all the time because the guy had everything. He had the mass cassettes, and then over the years I just when the other ones came out, I just got them all on CD.
Did you ever get MTV though?
When I was an adult. When I moved out of my parents' house, I got an apartment, and I obviously got cable, but to me, the MTV wasn't the same as it was when I was younger because they weren't really playing videos that much anymore at that time.
But when did they do Headbangers Ball?
Headbangers Ball, I think, was on, that was hosted by Ricky Rackman, right?
Yeah.
I think that was Friday night or Saturday nights.
But that was on MTV, right?
Yeah, you had to have cable for that.
Oh, okay.
So I would go to, on the weekends, my mom would let me sleep over at my friend's house, and my friends would have 4 of the guys over, and we'd hang out and watch heavy metal videos and steal their father's beer and drink beer, sneak outside and drink beer and smoke a cigarette, or do all kinds of stuff that
teenagers do.
Yep. I think we got a call here. Let's take this call.
Okay.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey. This Lewis?
Lewis with Mass. Yes.
How are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm real good. I'm glad. It's finally nice to speak to you.
Absolutely. It's going back and forth with our messages, and finally to talk in person. Well, sort of in person.
So you want to hear the story? What made me reach out to you in the first place?
Sure.
What happened was, one night I was on Facebook, and you know how on the side, they always have they suggest you could be friends with this person. So we have a mutual friend, it turns out. This girl that she's a lead singer in a heavy metal band called Infernal Opera, and her name is Volpe Vitrano, her name is, and it said Louis St. August, and I'm like, I know that name. That's the guy, the lead singer from the band Mass that I always listened to when I was growing up. So then I went and looked at your page, and I'm like, wow, this guy's still rocking. And I'm like, I'm doing my show now. Let me just shoot him a message and see if he's interested in coming on. And you responded, maybe within an hour after I gave you the message, I think, and then it just took off from there. So I'm really appreciative that you're willing to come on and talk with us for a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No problem. I appreciate you inviting me on. So, I do a couple a year. A handful or so of different things, and a lot of things I'm busy with or have family things to do. So I just said, we have working on a new record, and then when you talked about December, I figured that would be a good time to maybe talk about the Christmas stuff that we did last year and the Toys of Tot, and so. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling the listeners before that I said Louis was even nice enough to ask me if I wanted to give away a couple of his Christmas CDs, and you sent me 4 of them, and I really appreciate that as well, because the listeners will they'll really appreciate it. I already have the CD. I think I got it last year, and
perfect.
Love every song on it. I have every CD by you except for the greatest hits, and I figured why buy it, because I have everything already anyway.
That's right.
Oh,
that's great. That's great. I love talking to people who know and very knowledgeable about Mass and know the records that we've done, and sometimes I'll do an interview. They may have 1 or 2 albums, or the latest one, Steel Black, or something like that, or that's cool.
The website, folks, to buy the Mass CDs and the merchandise is massrocks.com. Definitely check out Louis's site. And going back to what you said about your other CDs, you actually did a CD called Voices in the Night, and the lead singer from Stryper, he produced that, right? Michael Sweet?
Yes. We were doing some shows with Stryper back in the early 80s, and Michael really took to the band, and I guess Timmy, the guitar player, actually had New Birth, had one of our records, so they were kind of a little bit familiar with us, and we were just getting off our deal with RCA Records, and he was like, well, do you have a demo? And we had to Take You Home was actually a demo that we were doing, and it wasn't really complete, but we gave that, and he gave it to Wes Hine, who was the owner of Enigma Records out in California, and he gave it to him, and Wes dug it and flew out to Boston to see us at a show, and I think a week later we signed with Enigma, and Michael ended up producing the Voices of the Night record. We flew out to California and did it out there, which was pretty neat. We ended up living with Michael and his wife for like 2.5 months or so.
Wow.
He was kind enough to put us up, the whole band in his house, and just to save money on the record budget, because we didn't have a huge budget, but what we did save, we were able to put back into the recording. And that was something different for us, too, because normally we'd go into a studio and we'd record all the songs in one studio, but we ended up doing different studios. We do the guitars in one studio, the drums in another studio, the vocals in another studio, and that's the way he was used to doing the Stryper stuff.
Right.
So that was different for us, and it was cool because we got to meet a lot of new people and see a lot of various studios, and so it was very interesting, and we had a blast.
Yeah, we played a track off of that CD a little while ago, and
cool.
And someone in the so we have a chat room up too, so we're chatting with the listeners in the chat room, and one of the listeners said, "Is this Stryper?" And I said, "No, it's not. It's Louis singing, but Michael Sweet produced it." And I said that maybe that's why it has a little bit of, the Stryper touch to it. Maybe is that fair
absolutely.
To say?
For sure. People, I hear that all the time. We used, Joey used Robert's drums. James used Michael's amps. We used the same engineer. The same Michael produced it. We used a lot of their, like once again, we didn't fly our equipment over. We just used their equipment, and so it has a Striper feel to it, and Michael ended up singing, I think, some backup vocals on "Chance to Love," and
That's the one we played.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's the song we played. So maybe that's what they heard.
sang.
Maybe they heard his voice in
Yeah.
the background. So he's
Right.
so you worked with him, and it sounds like it was a great experience. Who were some other artists that you worked with, or maybe did shows with that you had a good time with?
Oh gosh, it's the guys, Kip Winger, the guys from Winger was great. We played with Tesla. We've played with Cheap Trick. The guitar player for Cheap Trick is a riot. We've done a couple of shows with them, and just so many artists that we've met, and producers that we've worked with over the years. Just had a lot of good time. Joe Linterno, when we were doing the New Birth album, Joe was like recording his solo album and his band, and we would go out to dinner up in the Catskills Mountains in New York. We were recorded at Bearsville, and the guys we doing pre-production at Todd Redgren's home for that New Birth album, and that was produced by Tony Platt. And Tony's done a lot of the AC/DC, and I think he worked on Led Zeppelin 4. And so we just, been fortunate to, rub elbows with, quite a few artists and producers over the years. And, everybody we've met, and we've really had a blast. So
now, is there anybody in music, now or, back then that you would have liked to work with, but you just haven't yet?
Oh gosh, the producer Roy Thomas Baker. I think he passed away. I think he did a lot of the Queen stuff. I did get to meet him, but we never got to work together.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing the Joel and Turner album, and I just loved some of the stuff that he did, obviously with Queen and his production and his sound. So I would love to have worked with him. But I can't think of anybody really that I wanted to desperately work with. Just can't think of any right now. But I'll hang up and I'll say, "Oh, I should have said him." So, but
growing up, like when you were listening to music, like who were your influences? Like who did you like?
Oh gosh, growing up, I love so many bands. I love the band Angel. The singer Frank Domino was one of my idols. Growing up, he was from the same town. I grew up in a town called Revere Beach, and so I was a big Angel fan, and I loved Foreigner and Queen and Zeppelin and The Who and Aerosmith, of course. Those were my era. I loved Yes and so many of those bands, Black Sabbath and Kiss, and that was the stuff that I grew up listening to, and so that's kind of
Aerosmith. Aerosmith is like from near where you're from, right? They're from Boston,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, met Stephen about 2 or 3 times, and just fortunate to chat with him for a little bit and meet him, and I've always, growing up, Get Your Wings was one of my favorite records.
Yeah,
I used to listen
one.
to that during the summer, and when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I just put Get Your Wings on, and I used to love that record. Toys in the Attic, obviously. Those
Another
early
good
Aerosmith records were my favorites. I'd say the first 4.
Now, have you guys ever worked with the guys from Extreme? You ever do any shows with them? I know they're from Boston too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done, I've known Gary and Nuno for a while, and we used to rehearse in the same place in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And Gary was in a band called The Dream, and we've done some shows together over the years, the Channel in Boston, and I think then Nuno we did a show with Nuno's band when he broke off from Extreme. He was in a 3-piece band. I can't remember the band, but we played a show together in Boston, the Axis Club. He came out with a solo record. It was a 3-piece thing that he was doing, so we did that together. And they used to come see us at the Channel, and they hang out backstage. And I remember Nuno was in a band called Sin City or something like that. They were from Rhode Island, and used to come and check out us. We used to play in Providence, Rhode Island, in the living room. And so, yeah, we just did a show. I'd say about a month ago, October, and we had Nuno's brother, who's a singer, and Gary's brother, who's the guitar player.
Wow!
They're in a band called Flesh, and they were the opening act for us at the last show that we did. I think it was October 13th. We did a show here in Massachusetts, so that was a lot of fun. So. So it's just a small little, connection here. All the Boston, New England bands, everybody pretty much knows. Everybody has bumped into one another at one time or another.
Cool.
How many shows would you say that you do per year?
Per year? Now, not too many. I'd say we do a handful, maybe 5 or 6 shows per year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we're at this point right now. We just we get offered shows, and we'll call each other and we'll say, "You want to do it?" And some of the guys say, "Well, no," or it's or something. It might be a good show. Yeah, it's something to promote. Or we got this new record coming out, or let's promote the Christmas song or something like that, and let's do it, or it's for a good cause or something like that. So,
are you just local in the Boston area?
We do, whenever something comes up, like we'll fly out. We did the M3 in Maryland. We did the Rocklahoma a couple of times in Oklahoma. We did recently, about a year and a half ago, we did the Florida 80s in the Park show.
Nice.
So we spread out like that. Whenever a festival or a promoter contacts us, and if it's something that we want to do, we'll, and we just have a little band meeting, and there's something that everybody's available and everybody's on board with, and we'll do it if it's something
you ever come
agrees.
You ever come up to New York or New Jersey to do shows, or not really?
Not really. I mean, the last time we were in New York was a long time. We played the Ritz, and we played L'Amour's in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So we've done those venues, and I remember the Ritz. We played with Rodnelli and the guys from Kicks.
Okay.
And that was back in late '80s and so. And we had our equipment stolen, so that was pretty wild. We had our equipment in the truck, and luckily we were on the road, and the record label wasn't able to purchase us new equipment, so we could continue to perform the various places that we were on tour
I guess we're going to be taking a road trip up to the Boston area then.
Yeah, I told my wife, because she had some family that lived up there, and I said to her, we should see if they do a show, somewhere out Boston. Maybe we can make like a long weekend out of it and just go check out the show. Because honestly, I've never gotten a chance to see you. I've always had your music and stuff like that, and I just never was able to go to a show. So that's why we're asking. We just figured,
Right.
If there's a show, we'll definitely
love
check
to see
it out.
Well, let me know. Drop me a line. I'll get you guys on, the guest list and stuff. So it'd be great to meet you guys.
Yeah, whenever.
And, we get that all the time. We'll do a show, and people fly in from New York or from wherever, and I'm just blown away. I said, you came all the way. You took a flight, and booked a hotel, and I'm just amazed. They're like, I've had your records for years, and we just been fans, and you're on our bucket list. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just so it just blows me away. I'm just very appreciative.
Well,
of
speaking
these,
of bucket lists,
these
is
bands.
there anyone that you've ever wanted to see that you haven't yet?
Oh gosh, good question. Now, I guess I can't see the Beatles.
No. You go see Ringo.
That's right. Yeah, I can see Ringo. Right. Oh gosh, not really. I mean, this today's music. I mean, there's a band that I really dig. I really dig the band from Sweden called the Poodles.
Uh-huh.
I think I really like the singer's voice, Jacob, and I just like their style. I just think they seem really cool, and that's some of the music that I listen to and work out to, and when I'm on running or something like that, I'll the music kind of keeps me gives me energy. But there's not really somebody that I'd be dying to see.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about before, that, I know this makes us sound old, but, we don't really love today's music. I mean, we have to hear it because our kids play it, but,
Right.
I think it's crap.
I know, but we're forced to listen to it in the car, so, but,
Well, you are. I don't put up with that. It's my car. I play what I want. Those kids don't play that crap in my car.
Right.
But we love, we're 70s, 80s kids, and that's what we love to listen to. And we were just wondering if there is any new artist. And you did mention there was one from Sweden that...
Poodles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you like you like 70s music too, right? Like you're an Ambrosia fan, isn't that correct?
Oh, yes, I am, yes.
Ambrosia.
Yeah, because I was
I
reading.
do.
I checked out your website a while back, and I saw in your bio that you like to listen to 70s music, and it's funny because I actually do a 70s show too on my station.
Oh, cool.
I play all like the the popular rock,
Little River Band.
and all
Absolutely,
Gordon
yeah.
Lightfoot, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
that's why. Well, the name the record machine. I got that name a long time ago because someone said to me, "You're like a fucking record machine because you have everything. You play everything." So the name just kind of stuck. And just kept it that way. But we have a wide variety of music that we play on this channel. So
Perfect. Yeah, I love the 70s, and I have my Pandora. Like I said, if I'm going out for a run or if I'm going to the gym, I'll have the 70s, or I'll listen to the 80s rock and stuff. But or if I'm learning a new math song, sometimes I'll just plug that in and just to go over it in my head because I know I gotta go to the studio and sing these lyrics, so I better remember them. So or think of different melodies that way. Sometimes it's kind of a work thing too. So
Are you working on a new album now?
Yes, we are. We're working for, this will be our 8th studio album. It'll be out sometime next year. We don't have a date yet. I've been doing a blog for Melodic Rock, so I've done a couple of blogs trying to keep everybody up to date what we've been doing. So we have the bass and the drums and the rhythm guitars done. Lead guitars are being done now. I've done about 7 or 8 lead vocals. I think a couple more lead vocals to do, and then I'll start doing my backup vocals, and then we'll add keyboards and various things to it, and then it'll be time to mix and master. So,
do you write the majority of the music?
We all equally share. I write the lyrics and pretty much the melody. The guitar player will come up with the riff. It's done like differently for each song. Sometimes the bass player will have a riff and we'll build around that. I say the guitar player will come up with some chord structure and we'll record it and I'll come up with a melody and put the lyrics to it. So So it's everybody has their equal share to it, and everybody has their input.
And
So
for those of us that don't know, from start to finish, from the concept until it's produced and it's done, how long is that process?
you know, it varies. Back in the day, we've recorded an EP, mass EP, and it has 4 songs. We did that in the weekend in New York at the record plant. We went in there, I think, flew in maybe Friday night, and we recorded Saturday all day, the 4 songs, and we mixed it on Sunday, and it was, released like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later.
Wow.
So we did something like that quick. Then back when we had a big budget, like from A&M Records or RCA Records, we would work with a producer and maybe we would spend 2 weeks of pre-production and then record for about a month, doing the drums, guitars, vocals, and mixing for another week or 2. So it ended up being like a 2-month process. Voices in the Night was probably, I'd say, about 2 months of in the making for that. But then again, we had big recording budgets, so we got to do a lot of little things too on the side. Go to the beach, hang out at the big place that we had in Miami, and go for boat rides, and go out and spend a lot of the record company money, foolishly.
Yeah.
Because
Now, out of all the albums that you recorded, which one was your favorite one to do?
Oh gosh, favorite one to do.
Yeah, like which one is your baby? Like your favorite one?
They're all my babies. It's just so hard, to pick one. Like everyone said, "What's your favorite Mass record?" I'm like, gosh,
yeah,
it's really hard. Because each record was, you're at that that time of your life, that's you'll never go back to that time. It's just an era. Mm-hmm. So that part of I'll always remember recording our first album, the A&M album, down in Florida. It was such, we just had such a good time. Every album that we've done has been a good time. It's never had a bad experience. We have, ups and downs, the days, something, the tape screwed up. But as far as most fun, I would say, gosh, it's really hard. We had a blast doing the Fighter album, the first one. We had a blast doing New Birth. Mm-hmm. We had, so much fun doing Voices in the Night in California at the various studios. Mm-hmm. So I'd say out of those 3, I would say probably New Birth, I think, because it was just a life, changing album for us. We had our first big hit single, and
Do You
Love
Right?
Me video.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Do You Love Me video, and we filmed that actually in New York. It was actually done. We did that in like 24 hours of constantly filming, and songs like only 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Right.
So they had it all catered, and we did it in some warehouse in the city.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how many times we had to do it, and we filmed this in the old-fashioned filming style, that grainy kind of style, and then for it to be edited down to 3 minutes was just so incredible. So that was a fantastic album.
I remember that's what turned me on to the band, because I was telling the story earlier how I found this show on, it was U68. It was like on the the regular TV. It wasn't cable, and it was played this metal video show, and Do You Love Me came on. I'm like, who the hell is this band? They're awesome, and I'm like, I went and I drove 15 miles on my bicycle to get the cassette tape. It was like my favorite, I was like, because the guy in my town, he had a record store, but he didn't know who Mass was, so. And I was like, well, can you order me the tapes? And he's like, well, it's not worth it for me to order one. And he's like, I don't know if everybody's going to buy the other one. So I was like, all right. So I just drove my bicycle with my friend, and we went to this record store in Bergenfield, New Jersey, and they actually had it on vinyl and cassette. So I picked up the cassette, and ever since then I've been a fan. I wanted to ask you one question. That guy Gino in the video,
Yes.
is he a friend of yours, or you just hired him?
He is, yes, he is. He was actually, helping us out at the beginning. He was like our road manager.
Okay.
At the beginning, he would help us, load the equipment, and he would help us So we took him along with us, and he was just a great, positive guy to have with us, and he just helped us out at the beginning. I used to, before we were mass, we just starting out, I used to ride my bike over his house and say, and knock on his window and say, Gino, we got to hang up these flyers. I got 50 flyers. We're doing a show at, at the high school or something, and I'd get him up, and he would help me, we'd hang the flyers for the shows. And, he's just a great guy.
I figured by watching that video that he wasn't an actor, that he was actually a buddy of you, the band. Now all the guys in the band, are they the same guys from day one, or is there different members now?
Well, we're all the same except for the bass player.
Okay.
Kevin was left the band after the Voices in the Night record, and he left because of medical and personal issues.
Okay.
So, but we're still friends, to this day, and he's still around. He lives down Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and he's got a couple of lovely kids, and we get together once in a while, go for dinner. So Michael is the newest guy in the band, but he's still gets that tag being the new guy, even though he's been in the band for about 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael's done all the Christmas songs, and he's played on the Crack of Dawn album and the Sea of Black album, and this new one that'll be out next year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been in the band for a while now. So, but pretty much everybody's the same. Gene and Joey, guitars and drums, and myself.
Now you see, I seen that you noticed the same thing that I did. You posted, I guess, a posting from Amazon. Somebody was trying to sell your Sea of Black album for like $800. It's like, if only you could get that for the album, It's like. But a lot of your albums are like, I guess they're out of print now, so they're getting a lot of money for them.
They are. It's crazy because, when the record label, they'll give us maybe 20, 25 copies, and then, family, and I can't say, so I end up giving, one to, family members, cousins, somebody. And so I end up, I don't even have any tapes of myself. So one day I was just doing some searching, just like looking around, and I just come across Sea of Black. I said, well, I should get a new Sea of Black CD, for my car or something. And I'm looking at the prices, and I just couldn't believe it. It was like $900, $400. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I looked on Amazon and eBay, and they go for a couple $100 a piece.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody's paying that, but I know they're trying to sell it. But
right.
I just picked up the New Birth cassette. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I got it on eBay. I think I got it for like $4.
Wow, a cassette?
Yeah, because I still play cassettes. I have.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have a couple hundred cassettes. I also have probably maybe 300 or 400 8-track tapes. Probably 2,000 albums, 5,000 CDs or so. So I have a pretty big collection in the studio here.
Wow.
Yep. I play every format except I used to have a cart machine, but I got rid of it. But I have a CD machine, a dual tape player. I have 2 turntables. So
And a microphone.
And I have 3 microphones. So any shows coming up that you want to tell everybody about?
We have nothing lined up right now. We'll actually, once the holidays are over, we're a little bit closer to. I just can't wait to finish this record. Once I'm hoping that right before Christmas, we're done with all the hard stuff, and I can just ship it to the label, and then we're going to have somebody mix and master it. The last couple of albums we had Martin Krolin's mix the album in Sweden, and but the label has approached us with a new fella that they wanted us to give a try out to. I think he's out in Pennsylvania, and I haven't reached out to him yet because I'm not ready to transfer any masters over to him yet. But once we do get a little bit closer with finishing the album, we're going to line up some shows for 2018, and obviously the first one will probably be maybe a CD release party. We'll throw that in there, and then do some shows to promote the new record. So
yeah,
we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing it, and once you find out the when you're going to play again, my wife and I would love to take a ride up there.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely come up.
And check out the show.
Oh, great, absolutely. I'd love to see you guys.
And I love.
And who knows? Maybe we'll do something out there. Maybe we'll get invited. Usually when we release a new record or something, the buzz gets around a little bit, and promoters, start offering us different festivals, and so maybe we'll come down to hopefully get on to the M3 festival again. And we did it in 2010 for the release of Sea of Black, and so hopefully we can do some shows in different states. We do mainly New Hampshire here and Massachusetts around here, but we haven't gone to New York in a long time. I'd love to venture out to different places.
Sounds good. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna we got the 4 copies that you sent us, and throughout the show we're gonna give out the Christmas CDs, and we're gonna play all the tracks off the CD album. You can get those who don't win. You can get it at massrocks.com. Also, you can join the Mass group page on Facebook as well. You can get updates from that if you're not on the website, right?
Right, absolutely. I think it's called Mass the Band. It's actually run by a fan. His name is Chad.
Okay.
And appreciate Chad doing that for us, and he runs that Facebook. But I try to send him a message if there's something that I want him to promote or something that he may want to mention, and so he usually gets it up pretty quickly. And like I said, the massrocks.com, and they can always check that out and see what's up. And I've been posting a blog on Melodic Rock. I'll be doing a third blog just to, sometimes I threw a music sample up there in the first blog, and a couple of pictures in the last one, and I'll be doing an update on that one in a couple of weeks. And as we get closer to finishing the record here on our end.
Yeah, and Louis, feel free anytime you have anything you want to post or anything like, you feel free to post it in my group page, because like I said, big fan, and it'd be pretty cool for everybody to get updates from what's
Appreciate
going on.
Absolutely.
Post whenever you want, my friend.
Appreciate it. And when the new record comes out, I'll actually send you. I'll drop you a note. I'll send you a couple of copies, and maybe we can chat again and next year and talk about the new record and see what you think.
Oh, I'm sure everybody's gonna love it. Like Mass and Tesla, to me, are the 2 bands that I feel deserve way more recognition. I love both bands. Your voice is great.
Thank you.
Jeff is a great singer as well, and
Thank
just
you.
the band themselves, the craftsmanship, the music. It's well written. It's well played. I love the way everything's arranged. With your band Tesla, like 2 of my favorite bands that
Thank you.
I
Thank
can
you very
listen
much.
to all the time. So
Thank you. We've actually done a bunch of shows with Tesla, about 3 or 4 shows with them, and they're great guys. I mean, I have Brian, talked to Brian Wheat, several times on the phone, and Jeff is a great guy. They're just a bunch of great guys, and we love playing with those guys. So they're fantastic.
Cool. All right, Lewis. Well, I don't want to keep you on the phone all night. I'm sure you're a very busy man, and I really appreciate you calling in and chatting with me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me on, Jimmy, and thank you for your questions and for all the listeners. Wishing you and your wife a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and
Merry Christmas.
God bless.
Merry Christmas
Yeah,
to you,
Merry
my
Christmas.
friend.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
And we'll talk to
You're
you soon.
welcome.
All right.
You got it. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.